morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the case might be for you. I know we are truly an international crowd here today. I'm Alex, and on behalf of the Mindvalley team, I would like to welcome you to the Rapid Transformational Hypnotherapy for Abundance Q&A coaching call number 1. And we have a great session prepared for you today. We have very interesting topics belonging mainly to the first week of your quest. You are now on day 8 when we are taping this live Q&A portion. And I believe you'll get great insights from today's session. That being said, and without further ado, let's welcome the best-selling author, motivational speaker, a leading celebrity therapist, and our wonderful guide on this journey, Marissa Peer.
Hi everyone, it's lovely to speak to you from what was sunny New Zealand, but today it's rainy New Zealand, but it doesn't matter because we're going to have a great time, whatever the weather, and I'm thrilled that you're all here.
Wonderful. Let's start with our first question. It comes from Kathy. What if I don't feel as if I'm being hypnotized? My conscious mind wanders off. I'm completely awake during the sessions and my mind tends to lose focus. Is this normal? Is it still working in this case?
It is normal not to understand what hypnosis feels like because we've all seen movies where someone goes to sleep and wakes up and they have no idea what's happened, they have no memory. So we tend to have this colored view of what hypnosis is and isn't. Here's the facts. Hypnosis is actually a natural state you go into a lot. If you're watching a movie, you're deeply engrossed and the phone rings, you may jump up because you're absorbed and focused. But for everyone, there are different levels. Some people go very deep indeed and go, well, I fell asleep, and others go, no, it really worked. Others say, I don't know. Here's the thing, your subconscious mind never sleeps. It will always take in information, even if you're playing the recording late at night. But if you want to really know it's working and to really be able to let it in and to stop your mind wandering, what you need to do is have a quick dialogue with your mind just before you begin the audio. So what I suggest you do is exactly this. You talk to your mind. You say, mind, I want to let this in. I want to get this. This is super important to me. I want to focus. I want to absorb everything. I need you to allow me to focus. And then you keep telling your mind what you want. Your mind's job is to do what it thinks you want it to do. And your job is to let your mind know clearly and precisely what you want. So you say, I want it, I want to focus, I want to absorb, I want to be completely engrossed in this. And if you say that over and over again, your mind will get it. And while you're listening to it, if you think, my mind's still wandering a bit, just keep saying these words. I'm engrossed, I'm focused, I'm right here, I'm taking it all in. Because if you say that enough, guess what? That is exactly what will happen. I'm absorbed, I'm focused, I'm taking it all in. This is working for me. The more you say it, the more it will become your reality. I hope that helps you very much. And thanks for a great question.
Of course, we have the opposite side of this question now that comes from Francesca. Is it normal falling constantly asleep during the RTT sessions? Is the session still effective even when we fell asleep? Any tips to keep the mind focused on what you are saying?
First of all, the subconscious mind never sleeps. So even when you are asleep, you will take in information. However, it's very nice to know what's going on. People say, Marissa, I listen to your audios, I go to sleep. I only wake up at the end when you tell me to come back, which is a sign that you're following instructions. But here's what to do. If you're lying in bed or lying on a very comfy sofa and you feel that you're going to sleep, sit up straight, sit up with your back against a wall. Don't get quite so comfortable. Sit in a hard chair and listen to it that way. And again, say to your mind, I love this and I'd like to be at a level where I can remember it. Mind, I want you to take me to a level where I remember it all. And if you say that, it will work. And also keep telling yourself it's going in. I may not know what's going in, but it's going in and it's working. You must program your mind. It does what it thinks you want. And a lot of us go, I just want to relax and let go and really drift away. And then they think, well, I've drifted away and I didn't hear any of it. So tell yourself it's working, but tell yourself I'm at a level where it's working and it's deep, but I'm also remembering it all. And that's exactly the level you'll go to. But please don't worry. It is always working. Whatever level you're at, it works.
Next question comes from Priscilla. By the time I get to the end of the recording, I can't remember at all what has been said in it. Is it okay not to recall the words? Will the therapy still work in this case?
Absolutely. The mind learns by repetition. And one of the key things I put in all my audios is repetition. I repeat key facts and key suggestions over and over again because I want you to remember them. So again, you know, your conscious mind is the mind where you focus and take stuff in, but the subconscious is where ideas take root and you keep them. Because if I said to you, let's have a little book, spelling book, A, you'll go A is for apple, B is for ball, C is for cup, even though you probably haven't seen that little alphabet book for 30 years, because we don't forget anything. We hear a song, we suddenly remember the next line of that song that we didn't hear for 20 years. So things will stack up in your memory bank and stay there. So please don't worry, it's going in. And if you get to the end and you haven't remembered the beginning, again, you can say to yourself, I'm remembering all of that. The more I play it, the more I remember, the more I play it, the more I'm locking into key things. My mind is learning by repetition. So play it, play it, play it. And I promise you, it is designed to go in. I've spent 33 years studying the mind. These recordings are designed to go in and to recode and rewire and almost refire your thinking, to have an effect on your neuroplasticity. And the thing you don't have to do is to focus on them, because that's conscious work. This is subconscious work, where very little effort is required except just to listen. I promise it will go in. I've been seeing this for 33 years. It works, as long as you play them. But you don't have to focus on them with your conscious mind at all. You can just listen to them and know it's a bit like putting lotion on skin. You don't see what it's doing, but it's going in and working. And so are these audios.
Okay, next question. And this is actually the most frequent question we received by dozens of people. So we kind of compiled it in a long form, so bear with me. Please clarify the process we should follow when listening to the RTT audios. We're getting basically 5 RTT audios in total. You mentioned that each audio needs to be heard at least 21 times. So do we need to listen to each audio for 21 days in a row and only then switch to the other ones? Or can we mix them and listen to different audios each day until each audio will be heard 21 times? Does listening to a regular, do we listen to a regular Quest audio and then plus the RTT session? What is the process?
It takes the mind between 10 days and 21 to completely lock on to a new idea and let go of an old one. For some people, it can happen instantly. And so to be on the safe side, I say play the audio for 3 weeks to guarantee that you've wired in and coded in a new message and also given up an old one. So of course you have one audio, you're happily playing that, then you have a new one. It's like, well, I haven't finished with the old one, but they can overlap. You can play one in the morning and one in the evening. So you can have 2 going at the same time. And now you've got to the 3rd audio and you can stop the first one. So you're playing one audio, 14 days in, you start the 2nd one, 28 days in, you start the 3rd one, and a month in, you might start the 4th one. You can also, when the course is over, go back and think, well, you know, I listened to that recording for 2 weeks, now I'm going to put in the next 7 days. So you can add it in later. It really doesn't matter. They don't implode. You can go back to them at any time and play them. You'll also find as you think, you know what, audio 3 was my favorite. That spoke to me. I loved that one. So you go back and play that more. You might also find that you've done really well with the audios. An important event is coming up. You think, you know, I'm going to play that audio before that intro. I'm going to play that audio before this important date. So you can stage them, if you know what I mean, so that you're playing one, but also introducing another one, then introducing another one, then introducing another one. If you say, I don't like that, I want to just focus on only one, play it for 2 weeks, start the new one for 2 weeks, start the next one for 2 weeks, and when the course is over, go back and do another week of each one. It's absolutely fine to do it that way, and you don't have to play them for 3 weeks. I just like to say 3 weeks because that is the guaranteed time that I know your neurons will start to change. Neurons are like little highways running through your mind, and they start off as tiny threads and they become like cables, like highways. And you can interrupt neurons and let old damaging limiting ones unravel while you install super highways of powerful beliefs. And it just takes repetition. You can mix it up any way you like it. It always works. I hope that helps you. And it's a very common question. I'm sorry it's not clearer, but I hope it is now. Thanks for the question.
Do we need to repeat your affirmations during the guided RTT sessions or just listen and absorb?
You can do both. A lot of people like to just listen and absorb, and other people will say out loud, as I say, you're lovable, they'll say that. But if you're saying out loud what I'm saying, don't say you, change it to I. I'm lovable, I'm super confident, I'm phenomenal. So when you're hearing me talking to you, of course you can join in. It's a great thing to do. Some people don't like the sound of their own voice. Some people just go, no, I'm a sponge. I just want to absorb all of this. But if you love the statements, see, I don't like affirmations. I like the word statements of truth, and that's what I call them. By all means, state them while you're in the hypnotic state. Instead of saying you, because I'll say you are phenomenal, you are so confident, you're self-assured. You need to go, I am so confident, I am self-assured. By all means, join in. It will just make it even better than it already is. And that's a great question. Thank you. I hope the answer works for you.
Does it make sense to listen to the RTT sessions when you are commuting or walking or exercising? Basically doing any other activity than just lying and listening.
The thing with these audios, they are subconscious audios. They are rewiring your subconscious mind, not your conscious, because the subconscious mind is the one that's controlling us. So in an ideal world, you lie down, you close your eyes, and it goes in like butter onto a piece of hot bread. So it's better to be lying down, but you can play them in addition to. So many of my clients say, I love those audios, and they're so effective. So as well as playing it first thing in the morning and wake up, I have it when I'm cooking. I have it on when I'm doing other stuff, when I'm ironing or tidying up my house. So you can do that. You can certainly play it when you're walking your dog. And if you're commuting, but obviously not driving, you cannot play it when you're driving. But if you're on a train or a bus or a passenger in a car, you can play it then too. And then you can hopefully close your eyes. But if you're playing it while you have your eyes open, you're doing other stuff, that must be in addition to, not instead of. You have to have roll up your eyes, close them, go into that alpha brainwave where you are super receptive to suggestions and they go in and make a difference. It's not the same doing in a conscious state. It's effective, but not as effective. So in addition to, as well as, but not instead of. It's a very good question, Elaine. Thanks for asking it, because that helps everyone else too.
Does hypnotherapy wear off? How do we know if it's working? For example, I have not seen or felt any changes or differences while doing the RTT, or even after I did it 6 times in a row till now. When can I see or expect results?
Really, you guys are asking the best questions. So let me tell you something important about how we change. We change in at least 3 different ways. The first change is the best change. It's instant. I listened to that recording. Oh my God, I don't know what happened, but I woke up and now I can't eat cake. I'm just indifferent to sugar. What have you done to my mind? And many of my clients say that recording changed my life. I'll give you an example. Someone from New York wrote to me and said, my kid was on the floor hysterical about the exams. I played your audio. She got up, went to school, aced the exam, said, Mom, that recording has changed everything. I feel really good at learning. So she had instant change, which is always the best kind, but not everyone has that. Here's the second change. It's called cumulative. It means bit by bit it creeps up on you. You don't notice you're changing, then suddenly you think, oh, I don't have that anxiety anymore. I'm not down on myself. I'm not criticizing myself. That's the second one, cumulative, bit by bit. And then here's the third change, which is called retroactive. And that means you don't even know you've changed. People say, you're so different. Someone said recently, I had no idea I changed. So my husband said, wow, you're not angry anymore. You're so calm. You don't shout at the kids. You're so different. So I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out. So you're in what's called lag time, Lisa, in that you're doing the work but not yet noticing the results. It's rather like going to the gym. You do lots of sit-ups and bench presses and arm curls, but you don't see the muscles. And one day you think, wow, oh, I can see the definition, it's working. So you're going to change instantly, cumulatively, or retroactively. And retroactive is annoying for you because you're not seeing the change, but it's going on. It's a bit like if you suddenly did a vegan juice diet. You wouldn't feel better the next day, but 3 weeks in you go, wow, my skin, my hair, my allergies, I just feel better. And it's very common to not know it's working because you're changing on the inside. Your neurons are changing, your biology is changing, your biochemistry is changing. You're not seeing it yet, but I promise you will. And I find that with clients, because my friend came to see you, they said they left and it's like you'd waved a magic wand, they're a different person. But I came in, that didn't happen for me, but it did work. It's a bit like, I took my driving test, I had 8 lessons, passed my test. My sister had 4 tests and failed each one. And then on the 5th one, she passed. But on the road, we're equal now. We just passed our driving test at different times. She'd had more lessons than me because she learns differently to me. Doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. You're all equal in the end. So don't worry, don't stress. You will notice the changes. When you notice them, it won't matter how long it took. I promise you, inside of you, changes are going on, and you'll see them retroactively and cumulatively too because of lag time.
Let's move on to some other subjects. We discussed a lot about the audios and how to do them properly. Let's see another question here from Peter. I have a very, very bad memory. I'm not able to remember anything from my past. How will I know what limiting beliefs are causing my current issues? You always say that understanding is crucial. Therefore, what can I do to facilitate remembering and make these regressions more effective?
Whenever I meet people with a bad memory, they always say things like, I'm going to put that out of my mind. I'm going to forget that ever happened. I'm just not going to think about that. You see, your mind has a job. Do what it thinks you want it to do. I want you to pay attention to your dialogue because somewhere in your past, maybe not now, you've used those words. I'm going to forget that person, put it out of my mind. I'm not going to think about that. When you have a bad memory, your mind tends to have a very interesting belief. You don't want to remember that. You don't want to think about that. Let me help you forget that. And you're acting on very old, outdated information that you gave yourself years ago. So now you have to reverse it and say to your mind, I want to remember key events in my childhood that shaped me. And here's something super important. People have a fear, oh no, I don't want to go back and relive that. You can't relive anything. You can only review it. Most of us have had horrible issues in our childhood. Someone smacked you when you were 6 and you remember that. You can't relive it. You can only review it. So let your mind be clear that when you go back and look at scenes, you never relive them. You review them. And since you dealt with a scene, no matter how traumatic it was, you can absolutely deal with the memory when your mind begins to understand that you actively want to, desire to, and are really ready to look at key scenes to understand how they shaped you. It will start to unlock those memories. And then you can deal with them without fear, but almost with fascination. Oh, look at that. That happened. It was really hard at the time, but it can no longer affect me because I'm changing the meaning of what that scene was. I'm changing the interpretation. My dad left when I was 2. I was devastated, but I see now that my dad was a very sad, tragic person. It has nothing to do with how lovable I am. That's how you make it work. And the more your mind knows that you're ready for scenes and you're going to look at them with fascination, not fear, the more it will start to give those scenes back to you. Whenever I meet people with no memory, it always comes back the minute they begin to be ready to look at those memories without fearing them. And that's what will happen for you too. And of course, the more you'll find one comes back, then they all come back. And also a very good thing is when you get into bed at night, just before sleeping, say this to your mind, mind, give me those memories. In my dreams, I would like to and need to have access to memories of my life that have shaped me. And tonight is a great time for me to start to remember. while I'm dreaming and to wake up and have those memories. And your mind will do what you tell it to. Tell it that, and you'll be surprised at the results. Thanks, Peter. It's a great question. Next one, please.
How can we tell if we are making progress reprogramming our subconscious for the better if our outside physical world isn't showing identifiable evidence?
It can take a while for you to notice changes. Often changes are happening and you're changing you. You can't change other people. You might think, I'm calm and relaxed, but everything externally is, I still have a difficult boss. I've still got a hyper kid. I've still got a commute every day that is stressful. So the only thing you can change is you. You cannot change anything else. Just go on changing you. Because when you change you, it will change externally. None of us can change out there. You can only change in here. But when you change in here, you have phenomenal coping skills to cope with out there. For instance, you may be going on a flight, go to the airport, find all the flights are cancelled and you've missed your connection. You can't change that, but you will change how you react to it. So the work we're doing is not to change external events, it's to change you. And when you change you, you change everything. The only thing you can control are your thoughts. You can't control the traffic or the weather, or even your body, or you'd never get sick. I mean, here am I in this beautiful place. I've waited my whole life to come to, it's pouring with rain. I can't change that, but I can definitely change how I feel about it. And I'm not going to say, oh, look at this. It's just ruined everything. Everything's a write-off. It's raining. I've come all this way, blah, blah, blah. I can go, well, a bit of rain is not going to change anything. I'm going to have a great day anyway. You see, when you start to think positively, what's so extraordinary is that external events stop affecting you. Even when you get bad news, you suddenly have this bounce back. You become like a big rubber ball. You bounce back from adversity. You bounce back. People think I've had an amazing life. Nothing bad's ever happened. That's not true. I've had cancer twice. And the first time I was diagnosed, I remember thinking, well, that's a stroke of luck. Womb cancer. I don't need my womb. And people say, oh, you're like Pollyanna. How could you do that? But it's just my wiring. I've wired myself for so long to be positive and happy and grateful that even when bad things happen, I can still bounce back. I might have a moment, I did have moments of feeling very sad and fearful, but within 48 hours I was back. I thought, I'm not going anywhere. And I came back and I was as strong and as positive as ever. And it really was just a blip in my life because I decided that only I'm going to control what happens to me. Not a doctor, not a nurse, not an illness, not anything, not the rain or the weather or the traffic. And you can be like that too. It just takes a little practice because you know what happens? In the beginning, it's what you do. And then guess what? It becomes who you are. And that's what's so extraordinary. Of course, you'll have setbacks days and you go, oh, my life's a mess and this is driving me crazy. I still occasionally say this is driving me crazy. Then I stop and go, no, it's just a little challenge. As long as you do it 80% of the time, it's just as good as doing it 90% of the time. Work on changing you. That's the only thing you can change. It's the only thing you need to change. And when you change you, that's when you change your life. And it works for everybody. You just got to keep with it. First, it's what you do. In no time at all, it'll be who you are. And then you really know you're winning. So thanks for the question. And next one, please.
What's the best way to eliminate conflicting beliefs? And again, this is a very frequently asked question. Like if we say, I am prosperous and abundant, but that just doesn't feel right. It seems like a lie. It seems that at that point, it seems that our mind just attacks us back. My mind is going through my limiting belief list and all the reasons why I'll never live in abundance, even though I believe in the power of these sessions.
Here's a rule of your mind. The mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. When you start to say, I'm abundant, and of course you're going to go, no, I'm not really abundant. I haven't got any money in my bank account. I've got 6 bills coming in and not enough going out. That's your conscious mind. However, you still have got to keep saying, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, I'm rich, because your mind does not know where that's coming from. I was a single parent and my partner left me in a lot of debt. And my little girl said to me, Mummy, are we rich? I go, darling, we're so rich. We are wealthy beyond belief. We are wealthy and rich. I never said we have lots of money. I said we are wealthy and we are rich and we are abundant. And I always would say that, and I became incredibly wealthy and rich and abundant. And I know that's because I stated that. I intended that over and over again. It's a bit like if you're a beast. If you're a beast, you have to say, I'm slim and fit and healthy. Of course, it's not true. You look in the mirror and think, that's not true. But if you keep saying it, you are far more likely to make it true. You make your beliefs. Your beliefs make you, and the world will always look to match what you believe. One of the rules of the mind is we act in a way that matches our beliefs. And you keep saying, I'm stony broke, I'm dead broke, I've got no money, I got no way of finding money, I don't know where to find money. Well, you don't find money. You monetize your skills to make money. So you got to block out all those thoughts, and that's the conflict of the mind. It can't hold conflict beliefs. If you keep saying, I can't find the money, I don't know how to get money, I can never make enough money, slips through my fingers, every word you say is a blueprint that you are going to make real. You have to say, I'm wealthy, I'm monetizing my gifts, I'm attracting money, money comes in. Money is energy. I'm attracting it. I'm maintaining it. I'm investing it. There are many, many poor people who started off with just a vision. I know that Sean Connery, the very first James Bond, lived in a tenement building in Glasgow with nothing except a picture of a Rolls Royce on his mirror. And every day said, I will have a Rolls Royce. You know that Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, could not get that book published anyway. He tried, was rejected, rejected, rejected. And then he cut out the New York Times bestseller list, wiped out the #1, and wrote in black marker, Chicken Soup for the Soul. He put it on his mirror. He put it in his bedroom ceiling, so he looked at it when he was in bed at night. And he wired himself to believe that that book would be a bestseller, and it became a bestseller. Even in the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, he becomes. You have to be religious to know what that's saying. Watch your thoughts, because they become your actions. So you've got to understand that the mind can't hold conflicting beliefs. You've got to wipe out the negative, never refer to them, and just keep saying, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I'm moving towards abundance. The wiring audio will do that all for you. And do not allow yourself to say the other stuff, because the mind is like a laser moving you to where you want to go. But if you conflict it, it now is more like a tumble dryer going round and round in a circle. It's like if you look at an anorexic, they love food, they hate food. If you look at a bulimic, they love food, they hate food. Because their mind is always conflicted. In the area of wealth, be like a laser. Focus on where you're going. You are moving towards wealth, and wealth is moving towards you. You don't have to know how or why that's going to happen yet. But if you focus on that belief and make it your blueprint, that's where you will go. So don't think about it too much. Just do it. And thanks, Anne-Marie, for that great question. Next one, please.
What's the most effective way to change the unwanted memories and old pictures in my head so my mind no longer responds to them? Would that only be accomplished using the hypnotherapy sessions, or should I mix in visualization as well? What is your suggestion?
I train now over 2,000 graduates in my method, and we have something very amazing called It's Not Me. And what It's Not Me means is that when clients go back to scenes that are sad or distressing, or maybe it's a scene of you're 2 and mom's looking in her purse, she hasn't got money, or you're 3, or you've gone to school and you haven't got brand new trainers and other kids have, and you now feel in poverty. And you're carrying that memory, there was never enough, or you didn't have good food, and now you can't leave food. You have to say, it's not me. It's not me, because, and again, you know, in the audience, I have you shout that out. I have you make that as a statement, justified. It's not me. You know, when I was a kid, I thought I was the most hideous, ugly, stupid kid in the world. I really believed I was stupid. I thought I was a freak. I don't think that at all now. I would never think that. But You have to go, it's not me because. So whatever you're holding on to from your childhood, say it's not me. It's not me because. It will never be me because. And it cannot be me because. What I do, I call it something, it goes like this. You investigate your beliefs, then you interrupt them, and then you install brand new ones. That is one of the bases of RTT. We investigate the past, we interrupt the beliefs we had from the past, and then we install and code in brand new ones. It's what all my graduates do. It's what all my therapists do. We're doing it in schools and prisons and rehabs. And it's so effective. So many rehabs go, wow, having addicts go, it's not me, that's not me, that cannot be me, will not be me ever again, because is amazing. I know that because the therapists I've trained write to me every day and go, oh my gosh, the difference I saw. In fact, a doctor just reviewed my new book, I'm Enough, and said, this is required reading in medical schools. You've simplified the workings. And Einstein said, simplify, simplify, and you've done it. And I have learned more from that book than I learned in all my psychology training, because you've simplified the workings of the mind. Investigate, interrupt, install better beliefs. That's what RTH programs is doing. That's what RTT is based on. That's why it is so effective. We just won 11 awards for RTT and I'm Enough, which is the basis of what you're getting in RTH. You're getting it wired into abundance, but it's an award-winning technique because it works, and it works because it simplifies. But please don't believe that simple doesn't mean powerful. I've always been passionate about making some powerful transformations simple. I spent my life simplifying the workings of the mind and giving that information to you and to all my RTT therapists. They can change people like that, and it never wears off. Your question was, does it wear off? No, never. It does not, will not wear off, because you're changing the neurons in your mind. It's called neuroplasticity. You're changing your syntax as you're getting your mind to fire differently, to think differently, to work differently, to work better. And once you get the mind to change, it doesn't wear off ever. That's like saying, if I learn to drive a car and then don't drive a car, do I have to have driving lessons all over again? Of course not. You get in a car, it all comes back to you. You don't use a machine for some months, you switch it on, it comes back to you. You go on holiday for a month, come home, and you remember all your codes for your alarm and your computer. That's how it is. Thanks for listening. And next question, please.
I see a very upvoted question, if I can say that, from Graziana. What if I have passed and I am still passing my limiting beliefs onto my children without realizing it? Would it be possible for me to change this situation from now, even if they are over 5 years old? How can I do that?
It's never, ever too late. You can, even if they're 15 years old, even if they're 25 years old and no longer living with you. But with little children, it's very important. So wherever your limiting beliefs are, just change them and just start to install in your children better beliefs. You're awesome, you're great, you've got a great memory. So, you know, a lot of mothers say things to their child like, you're driving me crazy, you're stressing me out, we don't have the money for that, I can't find that, I haven't got time, stop annoying me. So you can go back to your kids and address that, but the first thing to do is do the opposite. Say to your children things like, you know, the best job in the whole world is being your parent, you are a gift to me. I used to say to my little girl, you know, you're my teacher. And so she goes, Mummy, I'm always teaching you stuff. And there are times, of course, when they press all your buttons, but praise your children every day when they come in from school. Say to them, what did you do today that was great? They go, I don't know. Go, well, let's go through. What did you do? And if they can't think of something, you tell them something. When they go to bed at night, do a little bit of praise. And one of the best gifts you can give your children, the best by far, is to get them to praise themselves. There is nothing that will build your child's self-esteem like praise, your praise, their dad's praise, their friend's praise. But when we need people to praise us, it makes us needy. And children do need praise from us, but also when they can learn to praise themselves, everything changes. my little girl came home one day and it was really heartbreaking. She said, Mummy, somebody at school didn't like me because I'm brown. And I thought, oh my God, my baby, she's had racist abuse. And I said, well, how do you feel? She goes, well, Mummy, I love being brown. It's the color of trees. And I thought that was so clever that it didn't hurt her. She was a bit bulletproof because I would always make her say, I like myself. I love myself. I'm enough. And we'd say that a lot. So get your kids to say, I'm enough. Ask them what they like about themselves. When they come home and say someone at school didn't like me or said I smell or I'm ugly or stupid, say, well, what do you think about you? And if they go, well, I think I'm stupid, you go, no, you're not stupid. You are a smart kid, so smart. You might do silly things sometimes, but all smart people do, but you are smart. And you're smart because if they say, my friends, that I'm ugly or fat, you go, no, darling, you're beautiful and gorgeous. You got to build their self-esteem. As a parent, you succeed to the level your children have high self-esteem. And that's a tough call because out there away from home, they have friends and other people that chip away at their self-esteem. And your job is to keep reinstalling it, recoding it back in. Send your kids out into the world with high self-esteem and you've succeeded as a parent. Just do that every day and they'll grow like flowers. And thanks for that great question.
Next question from Courtney. Does the root of a negative belief have to be healed before being replaced with a positive one?
I wouldn't say it has to be healed. It has to be challenged. So let's think of an example of a negative belief. No one likes me and I just can't talk to people. Or here's another one. I'm no good with confrontation. Now, you weren't born with that belief, but you may have got it somewhere. So just challenging. I'm not believing that anymore. Here's a belief. I don't like people looking at me. I've always been that way. Nope. When you were born, everyone looked at you. They counted your fingers and toes. They checked your hearing and your sight. And no baby goes, don't look at me. I've just filled my diaper and I'm fat and naked and I feel uncomfortable here. I don't think like that. You know, I used to take my little girl, like people would look at her in her stroller, she'd kick her little legs and smile her big gummy smile. I haven't got any teeth. I shouldn't smile. And she loved attention. So you challenge a belief. You refuse to believe it anymore. You don't have to heal it. You have to let it go. Stop saying that stuff which isn't true. I can't talk to people. I'm no good at confrontation. I don't have marketable skills. Whatever I do, I can't lose weight. No matter how much time I go on Tinder, I always get ghosted. Stop that. Don't say that because you're making it become real. If you knew that every thought you think and speak is a blueprint, go on Tinder, go, no, this is the time. I'm going to be smarter about who I pick, and I'm not going to waste my time with guys who just want to text, and not me. I'm taking control now. I talk to a guy, we'll meet. I might end up ghosting them if they're not right for me. Of course I can lose weight. Anyone can lose weight. I just have to do it in a more focused way. And this program will help you find love, attract your ideal weight, attract wealth, attract love, attract everything. But you've got to challenge those old beliefs and smash them out of your life, erase them, eradicate them. Do not refer to them. If you don't refer to them anymore, if you don't give them any energy, they go away. It's like an old person in your life. If you stop returning their calls, stop communicating, they go away. Take the energy out of a relationship and it ends. Take the energy out of negative beliefs by not repeating them anymore. And guess what? They end too. Thanks for the question. Next one, please.
Next question comes from Gerard. Oh, and by the way, guys, so when we're taking your question, just you might see that they are a little bit modified from the original version you are typing in the chat. We're actually combining several of your questions, so we want to answer multiple people with one question. Just wanted to mention that. So, Gerard, what would you say, in your experience, is the root cause of self-sabotage and procrastination? And what should we do to solve these problems?
Okay, well, I've been dealing with this for 33 years, so I know what that is. The root cause of self-sabotage and procrastination are two things. The first thing is I don't deserve it. I'm not worth it. I don't deserve to have this. If I get more, someone else gets less. we sabotage ourselves because of a belief that we're not worth it. And the second one is fearing change. We are actually wired to fear change because when we lived in tribes, what made us safe was the same old, same old. We lived in a little walled community and everything was the same. And we are wired to fear change in case it's changed for the worse. So many people say, you know, I'm just about to get married. I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm just about to close on a new home and I'm having a complete anxiety of, I don't even know if I want to move. I'm just about to have a baby thinking, do I really want a baby? This is a massive change. So we are wired to fear change, but here's the way to overcome the fear. The only way you can feel good about change is if you control the direction of change in your life and make it change for the better, because we all change. We're wired to fear change, but also we know that change is inevitable. You have to welcome every change. I love Goethe, who said, every stage in your life is a dream that's dying or one that's coming to birth. I could go, look, I'm getting older. I'm not 30 or 40 anymore. But I'm excited about every stage. Here I am traveling the world because my daughter's grown up. I work for myself. I'm training RTT therapists in Sydney and London and LA. And it's an amazing change. But you have to get excited about it. And that there is something else along with that fear of change. Some people fear success. What if I make it and no one likes me? What if I write a book and it gets awful reviews? What if I start my own company and no one likes my product? So then we start to sabotage ourselves because your thinking is going into the what ifs. What if I build this business and no one comes? What if I give up the sabotage, the progression, put huge energy and motivation into my plan and it fails? Well, you know, it might, but you know what? You'll have learned something. The only way to overcome a risk is to take a risk. Every risk you take teaches you something. There are many people who say, you know, I wrote a book a bit like Harry Potter and I put it in a drawer, it's there for 20 years. And now I see what J.K. Rowling, I'm kicking myself because I had that idea. Many people have great ideas, but they're too scared of the risk, too scared of rejection, too scared of change, and they stay where they are. Change is inevitable. You've got to take control of the direction of change in your life and make it change for the better. No one can reject you without your consent. And if you will reject your idea, you can make it better. So understand that you are a little wired to do that, but you've got to fight that wiring. Get out there and make it happen. And remember that you can do it if you get your mind on your side and get excited about the change instead of thinking about what could go wrong. Because if you thought about that, you'd never leave the house. I hope that helps you. Thanks, Gerard, for the question. Next one, please.
Of course, we have the opposite side of the coin. What if we fear success or good things because we are afraid that someone will take it from us or family will expect more from us?
Well, you probably know that 70% of lottery winners, incredible statistics, are destined to go bankrupt within 3 years. There's an interesting study. I've worked with lottery winners, I've worked with multi-millionaires, I've worked with rock stars who made so much money and got rid of the whole lot. And they all said the same thing. I didn't know who I was. You know, I got all that money. People would expect me to pay, and I did. And if I didn't pay, they'd go, well, you're really mean. If I did pay, they'd go, there you go, showing off again. And, you know, I just didn't know what to do. One of my clients who made a lot of money off my wealth wiring, so that the first Christmas she went home, she put all her nieces' computers, and her sister said, look at you showing off. Why are you doing this, humiliating us with all your money? So I was so hurt because I wanted to share it. And you see, that does happen. People say, what if I'm so rich, somebody might try to kidnap my kids? What if I'm so rich, I never know if someone loves me or my money? Well, that's a problem rich people have. But poor people have problems too, and all you can do is switch your problems. It is normal to fear success, but that fear cannot stop you. You have to just go through it. I write books. There's always someone going, I hate that book, and I hate that author. Who does she think she is? But you know what? I don't let it in because I know my books are good, and I can cope with someone's criticism because I don't let it in. So when you fear success, look at why. Look at the fears. You won't know who your friends are. Somebody might only go with you because of your money. You can deal with that. Everything has, being poor has problems, being rich has problems. We just swap our problems. I want love. I'm alone. I'm so lonely. Now I've got love. I've got new problems. I can't stand my husband's mother. I've got this kid that cries all the time. And I used to be able to lie in bed eating pizza. Now I've got to cook dinner, clean the house. So whatever you do, you just switch your problems. But you switch them for better problems, quality problems. Don't fear success. Go out and make it happen. It does come with issues, and you are perfect equipped to deal with them. That's what this program is doing, equipping you to deal with all the issues that come up. And so don't use the word fear. Change it. I'm excited about success. I'm ready. I'm excited. Bring it on. You've got to take that word fear out of your life and put in excitement instead. And then nothing can hold you back, because what's holding you back is not success. It's your beliefs about success. And I see that with the people I train to do what I do. Some of them go, I'm scared. How can I ever be as good as you? I go, you can, because it's a technique that works. And I have people all over the world, every bit as good as me now. But many of them are scared. But it's like that book, Feel the Fear, Do It Anyway. You know, your mind cannot tell the difference between fear and excitement. When you say I'm excited, you feel excited. When you say I'm fearful, you feel fearful. Banish that word and say excited instead, and watch as your life changes on a dime, and you keep the change too.
This one's from Sonia. Can TV, movies, and people talking negatively have an effect on us while we are rewiring our minds? Do we need to avoid them? Or can we just tell our minds this is not real? How can we cope with people talking negatively around us while we are rewiring our minds?
That's a great question, Courtney, because of course you're always going to find negative people. You know, sometimes I get off the plane in London, get in the cab, they go, where have you been? I go, oh, London's finished. This is a rubbish city. And I was going, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I just shut the partition? I've got to answer a phone call or read a text. So I choose not to get involved in that. You'll always meet people who complain and moan and are negative, and you can't change them. You can only change you. Don't let it in. You can have negative friends, negative relatives, negative family members, negative people you work with and for, but your choice is to not let it in any more than if you're around a racist or sexist or homophobic person. You wouldn't let that in, and we still hear people say crazy things that are homophobic, racist, and sexist, but we choose not to let that in. I love my daughter's generation because they're so different about that. It wouldn't occur to them to think the way some of my generation thought, which is frankly embarrassing. So make a decision, Courtney, that it doesn't matter what you're around. It's your thoughts. When someone else says something negative, your mind says, well, they've had a bad day. But when you say something negative, your mind thinks it must be real. You can't control other people or what they say and do, but you can control what you say and do and think. So just go on being positive and decide you're Teflon, that negativity is not affecting you. You're Teflon, Courtney, and you're not letting it in. It's not sticking to you. You're bulletproof, rainproof, and it's not going in. And if you decide that, it will become your reality. There are people all over the world who do not let negativity affect them, maybe for a day. You know, we're coming up to Christmas and we know it's the season of moaning and complaining and stress, but why is that? It can be an amazing day. It's your choice to go, oh my God, the shopping, the cooking is a nightmare, or to go, what a great day. I just get to hang out with people I like, exchanging gifts, having a great dinner, being with people I love. You can always choose. You can choose whether to be negative or positive, but you know what you can't choose? What you do to your body when you go, this is a nightmare, this is killing me, this is a disaster. If you could see what negativity does to your body, you wouldn't think negative thoughts. So choose better ones, and it gets easier. I promise, because I've been doing it for years. It certainly isn't how I was born, far from it. My mother, bless her heart, was super negative. It was just the way she was, and I decided never to be like that, even though I was brought up with that and I was around it, and she was always ill, and she was a victim of her circumstances, which weren't good, but I made a choice. I'm never being like that. I went the other way, because you know what, Courtney? You always have a choice. Make the better one and you'll be amazing. I know it.
Here's an interesting question. How do you create a feeling of abundance if you have never experienced it before?
Oh, that's such a good question. You know, I've got two people that trained with me. Both were cleaners. One is in Sydney, one is in London. They did my course as cleaners. They cleaned houses for a living. They were both single parents. So one was a single parent. They are now earning, one's earning $350, one is earning $500 an hour. She's booked out with clients because she said, you know, people used to talk to me all the time. When I was cleaning houses, they'd tell me all their problems. And then I saw your online course and I did it, thinking, can I really do this? And I was really scared. I thought, I can never be you. But actually, okay, then both of them actually changed from the online course to the live course. And they are more successful than some of our really highly educated grads because they just went out and did it. They didn't stop and think, who am I? I used to be a cleaner. They thought, I need the money. I've invested in this course. I know how to talk to people. And I'm so proud of both of them. The names are Sasha and Sally Ann. And I'm so amazed and proud that they are now very respected RTT therapists because they just got on with it. They didn't allow fear to hold them back. And it is normal to have fears. It's normal to hesitate. Did you know the Bible says he who hesitates is lost? Also says other things that contradict that, but that doesn't matter. It's normal to have fear, but you have to overcome fear. Look it in the eye and go, I'm going anyway, I'm doing it. And it's how you dialogue with yourself. How you dialogue with yourself is everything. When I was told I had cancer, my first thought was, oh my God, am I going to die? Of course I had fear. And then I thought, no, I'm going to decide what happens. I'm not going anywhere. And I overcame the fear really quickly and decided it was a blip and decided to use my mind and to overcome it. And I have to say it was actually quite easy once I decided this is down to me. You cannot farm out your beliefs. Happiness is an inside job. How you feel is an inside job. Don't give anyone else control over how you feel, how you act and what you do. It's down to you. You are super equipped to be amazing. You've got a brilliant brain, a genius brain, an amazing mind. You live in a free country in an amazing world with endless possibilities. And it's down to you what you do with it. You can be so successful with no background, no education, and no money. If you get your mind on board and believe in yourself and think better thoughts, or you can give up and just go, well, I come from nothing. I didn't have an education. I haven't got any money. I don't have to talk to people. What hope have I got? And there are examples all over the world. Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Mark Zuckerberg, who made all that money, Ethan Musk, all these people who didn't have a university education, didn't have money behind them, came from nowhere, but you know what they had? Driving ambition and self-belief. Belief without talent will take you everywhere. Talent without belief will take you nowhere. Belief is the thing you need to make your mark on the world, to find love, wealth, health, and happiness. And that's why this abundant program is designed to code into you everything you need to be successful. It doesn't matter what's behind you. It only matters what's right in front of you. And that's your ability to wire yourself and code yourself for success in every area. And I know you can do it.
Here's one that I saw repeated dozens of times. And of course, it makes sense because we're an international community here. Does the RTT work anyways if English is not my native language?
Yes, of course it does. You know, we train people now all over the world. People fly in from everywhere. We have people coming in from Spain and Italy and France and everywhere to train with us. We've had quite a lot of Japanese, but in fact, we've just been asked to take our RTT training to Japan and Singapore and China. So again, remember one thing, the recordings are to be repeated. You hear something, you don't quite understand it, you hear it again, and then you do. And you are very welcome to translate that into your own language. If you want to, you can write out the scripts of the recordings and read them to yourself in your own language so you understand where they are. You could even record them in your own language. You need to get the voice quite dynamic and powerful. But it doesn't matter about the language, as long as you understand what the words are. And if you don't, stop the recording, Google that word, what does that mean? And you'll find it with repetition, you understand. I train so many people where English is not their first language, from India and different Arab countries. And I have clients who come in from all over the world. I worked with someone, this lovely man in France, who'd been shot in the face in the terrorist attacks. And my French is very poor. His English was a little bit better, but he just wanted to work with me. I did a session with him, and he kept calling his lower jaw my downstairs. And I started to call his lower jaw his downstairs, because he was trying to get me to wire his mind to accept this bone that they'd had to put in when they shot off the lower part of his face, so it could accept the teeth he was having implanted. And with that language barrier, the session was amazing, and it really worked for him. He was such a beautiful man, so heroic to have survived that. And the language barrier didn't matter, because the intention was there. You obviously have to have a basic understanding what I'm saying. You must understand the basics, but your mind also understands intention without words. And the intention of RTH for Abundance is to massively heal you. And if you are open to that healing on every level and understand the words, even if you miss a few, it will go in and it will do what it's meant to do, which is to transform you from the inside out powerfully and permanently too.
What do you think prevents a person from implementing the information, the tools, and the strategies from this quest, even if they know it works? And what do you recommend for people to be able to do in order to stick and keep implementing these tools even after the quest ends?
Well, it's simply fear of change. You know, again, I know I've said this, but it's worth repeating. We are modern day people with caveman minds. And years ago when we lived in caves, change was scary. We didn't do anything different. We did everything the same, and safety was very much in numbers. And if you have a little 2-year-old child, you'll find that what's interesting about 2-year-olds is just at the age when they can go out and pick food from the bushes themselves, they start not wanting, I don't want that, it's got lumps in it. I don't want that, it's green. I don't like that. I only like pink yogurt. I only like cornflakes, no others. I only like everything in my red cup and red bowl. I want that same story. Because 2-year-olds are at an age where they could eat something poisonous and they suddenly don't want anything new. They start to fear change. And we are wired to fear change in case it killed us, in case it poisoned us, in case it hurt us. And so we still have that wiring that says, what if this change is change for the worse? Which is why even when we get near success, we run away. You have to run towards it and say, change is great. I'm excited by change. If you want to have no change, go and live in Afghanistan, and there you'll see a world. Go and live in the Yemen and see what it's like. The weather's the same every day. You wear the same clothes, you eat the same food every day. Here's a fun thing to do. If you think you're scared of change, imagine your life. You're going to wear what you're wearing right now. You're going to eat what you're eating right now. You're going to watch the same program. It's your Groundhog Day every day. And then you begin to go, oh no, actually change is good, isn't it? If I sit here in New Zealand in the rain, then the sun comes out, I really appreciate the sun. But when it's sunny every day, oh, I love the rain because I get sick of the sun. So we are wired to be a little scared of change, but also wired to overcome that. That's the wiring I'm giving you. Old wiring is scared of change. The RTH wiring is to make you welcome change, be excited by change, see the possibilities of change, and realize that there are still countries in this world where there is no change. When you go there, you think, wow, am I lucky to live in a free world where I have the benefit of change? Change is exciting. I know I was staying somewhere recently. There was one TV, was I in Russia? There was one TV channel. It played one show over and over again. And when I had a great time, when I left there, it was so exciting to go back to a TV with 80 challenge. I don't watch TV a lot, but I really appreciated having the freedom to have something different. I think all this show had on was Friends on a loop. I didn't have anything else. I watched it occasionally, but that's the thing. You welcome change when it's removed from you. You know, people who are in jail will go, I just want to go for a walk in the park. I just want freedom. People who are sick will just want to get out of this bed and walk to the end of the ward and just get a cup of tea. That would mean the world to me. when change is taken away, you really welcome getting it back. You know, if you've been sick in bed with the flu, just getting up and washing your hair feels so good because you didn't have that just for a while. We're all wired to resist change, but also welcome it. Welcome it, be excited by it, commit to this program that will change your life, and be excited by the changes. And remember, if you tell your mind, I love change, it excites me and thrills me and elates me, your mind will go, okay, great. Then I'll take all the resistance, all the procrastination, all the self-sabotage away, because I know what you want, to welcome and embrace change. And now I'm going to work with you because you've told me what you want. Before, I thought you didn't like it because you kept going, oh, I'm scared of that. And what if that goes wrong? But now I'm on board with you. Your mind should be your best friend, your ally, your PA. It's doing its job. Do your job. Use those recordings to let your mind know what you want. And you know what? You probably get it. Thank you very much for that last great question.
Wonderful. And thank you very much, Marissa. And thank you, guys. Thank you for all the wonderful comments and messages you are posting in the chat now. That's all the time we had for today. Hope you had fun. Hope you got a lot of value out of this session. Thank you again, Marissa, for bringing your A game to this call, for your great insights, your knowledge, and the expertise you brought to this session.
If your question didn't get answered, I'm really sorry, but go into the group, use that group. You know, if you commit to a group to change, you have an 80% chance of making it happen. When you commit with someone else, it's called peer pressure, weirdly, and that's a good peer pressure. Use the group, talk to other people, get them to also join in with your questions. They will answer some for you too. And feel that support network supporting you and working with you and helping you to change for the better.
That's all from me. All there's left to say is we're so grateful to have all of you as part of our Mindvalley community, and we cannot wait to see what 2019 holds for each of us as we continue to build towards our ideal, abundant life. Thank you very much, guys, for all of your questions, for your comments, for your engagement, for your participation, for showing up, and for playing full out. And until next time, be extraordinary, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.
And be abundant. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.